What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin Bats. It is Tuesday, which means it is Ohtani Tuesday. We have This Week in Shohei Ohtani news. We have top 5 rookies of the week. And with the AllStar Game right around the corner, we're going to do a fun little segment, Guess That MLB All-Star. We will get to all that soon, but for now, let's go. It is showtime.
It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball, deep center field. It is gone! Home run! And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
Man, oh man, what a week it was. What a week it was for Shohei Ohtani. This is going to be a blast of a Tuesday episode, and let's get to it with my favorite segment of all time, This Week in Shohei Ohtani news. I'm going to talk about him being named an all-star starter. I'm going to talk about how good he has been on the mound, and I want to talk about why Shohei is the most valuable player. Now, let's get to it with this all-star selection. Yes, we all know he was named to the starter as the starting DH. Over Yordan Alvarez, he won that job. He was also on Sunday named a starting pitcher in the All-Star Game. TBD on if he is the starting pitcher, but he was named to the All-Star Game as a pitcher for what he has done as a starting pitcher. So he is now the only pitcher, the only player in Major League Baseball history to be named to the All-Star Game as a position player and as a pitcher, and he has done it in back-to-back years. The only player in the history of this long game that is known as America's pastime, Shohei Ohtani, is the only player to ever do it. Think about that. Think about how cool that is. So yes, Shohei wins the DH spot over Yordan Alvarez. Let me talk about that for a second, because a lot of people can say, well, why did he win? Yordan's been the better hitter. Let's take a look at this for a second. This All-Star Game is about showcasing the world's best players, who people want to see. Yordan Alvarez has been the best hitter in baseball this year. Yordan's the best hitter in baseball right now. Shohei Ohtani is a more than a lifetime, a once-in-a-universe talent, and people just want to see him out on the field. So has Yordan Alvarez had a better first half offensively at the DH position? Yes. Do I fault people for voting for Shohei Ohtani because we've never, ever in history seen a player like this, and they want to see him on the field starting the game at the designated hitter position? No, I don't fault them one bit. So Shohei is named to the All-Star Game, wins the vote by mere percentage points over Yordan, and then on Sunday is also named as a pitcher. Now back-to-back years as both a position player and a starter. How cool is that? Unbelievable. But I want to talk about Shohei, the player, and what he's done, of course, over the last week, because this is This Week in Shohei Ohtani news, but what he's been doing for the better part of a couple of months now. This Angels team just hasn't been great, to put it nicely. But in Shohei Ohtani's last few starts, in his last 5 starts, the Angels are 5-0. 5-0 in his last 5 starts. Now, since May 17th, the Angels have been the worst team record-wise in baseball. When Shohei isn't pitching, they've gone 6-23. So you have this team that over this long stretch has had the worst record in baseball, but when Shohei is on the mound, they are undefeated over his last 5 games. Unbelievable. That in itself is remarkable. This Angels team is only going as Shohei goes. As Shohei goes, this team goes. When he's on the mound, they win. When he's not on the mound, unfortunately, they don't win. That's just the nature of the beast. But on Wednesday, this past week, Shohei pitched again against the Miami Marlins. How would he do on the road? This is, it's funny because he's been so great at home, and then he has a start on the road, and everybody says, well, he's human on the road. Well, guess what? Shohei on Wednesday took the mound in Miami, 7 innings pitched, 2 hits allowed, 1 unearned run, didn't even give up an earned run, and 10 strikeouts. 10 strikeouts on 7 innings and got the win. He also drove in more runs at the plate than he gave up, which the 1 run was unearned. He had 2 RBIs at the plate and a stolen base, which put him in territory that, again, we have never seen before. Shohei Ohtani, 2 RBIs and a stolen base as a hitter, making him the first player since RBIs became official back in 1920. I don't know how many of us here listening were alive in 1920. The first player since at least 1920 to strike out 10-plus batters, have 2 or more RBIs and a stolen base in the same game. The only player ever since RBIs have become an official stat. I tweeted this. Shohei Ohtani tonight has become the first player in history with 2 RBIs, a stolen base, and 10 strikeouts, and then just added a bunch of unicorn emojis. Because you know what? That's become the only adjectives that comes to mind anymore. I keep, the words amazing, incredible, all of that stuff. He's a unicorn. He's been incredible, and he's just upped his game more and more. Since June 10th, really listen to this. Since June 10th, as a pitcher, 5 starts, 33 and 2/3 innings, a 0.27 ERA, a 1.16 FIP, which is best in baseball. He's also first amongst all starting pitchers in ERA, and he's first in WAR at 1.7 in F WAR, which is Fangraphs WAR. So best ERA, best FIP, best Fangraphs WAR, all as a starting pitcher. As a hitter, 280 with 7 home runs, 20 RBIs, 53 total bases, and a 1.2 Fangraphs WAR. What he has done on both sides of the ball has been great. What he has done on the pitching side is unbelievable, unprecedented. What he's done as a pitcher this year has been so incredible. I love this stat, okay? And I saw this the other day. In the last 50 years, and this speaks to how clutch he is. We all know he can hit. We all know he can pitch. We all know he can run. And he's clutch. In the last 50 years, the best slugging percentage with runners in scoring position. Everyone in the last 50 years. Shohei Ohtani has the best at .621. After him, Mike Trout. After him, Mark McGwire. Okay? That's hitting. On the pitching side, the lowest slugging percentage against with runners in scoring position. First, this is in the last 50 years, Shohei Ohtani. Second, Dellin Betances. Third, Aroldis Chapman. How is not everyone in the world talking about this? In the last 50 years on both sides of the ball, he's more clutch than anybody with runners in scoring position. It's remarkable. And this year, at least in this last stretch, the Angels are only winning when Shohei is pitching. Let's compare him to the rest of the starting rotation, okay? The rest of the starting rotation against Shohei Ohtani. Innings pitched per start. Shohei, 6.08. The rest of the rotation, 4.8. ERA, Shohei, 2.22. The rest of the rotation, 4.87. Ks per start, Shohei, 8.13. The rest of the rotation, 4.43. Quality starts. Shohei is at 63%. The rest of the rotation's at 26.8%. Since June 10th, Ohtani has not allowed an earned run. It's July 12th. And since June 10th, Shohei hasn't allowed an earned run. The other 9 pitchers that have started a game for the Angels in that time have combined to allow 63 earned runs. Now, this isn't a knock on the other pitchers in the rotation. This isn't a knock on anybody else on the Angels. This is specifically this is how good Shohei Ohtani has been. And quite literally, the Angels are only going right now as Shohei Ohtani is going. The stretch he's on pitching-wise is unprecedented. And that leads me to another point here, which is, and I've said this before, but I am doubling and tripling and quadrupling, and I'm only stopping at quadruple because that's the last one I know. Shohei Ohtani is the MVP of Major League Baseball. I put out my Fox Sports rankings, my mid-season awards this past week, and I had Shohei Ohtani as the MVP. The reason I want to talk about this now is because of the massive discussion it led to, which is, oh, is he or isn't he? No, it's Aaron Judge. No, it's Jordan. No, it's Shohei. It was all over the map. I will just say any MVP award that isn't for Shohei is wrong. This tweet was great. And any MVP vote that isn't for Shohei Ohtani is disingenuous. Say what you want about the team around him. There's arguably never been a player in the history of professional sports that has added as much value as he does with one roster spot. So this leads to a great point, and it actually plays into the point that everybody likes to make when this MVP argument comes up. How can Shohei be the most valuable player on a team that isn't very good? Well, I have 2 points, and I'm glad you asked. First off is everything I just said about Shohei. The Angels are literally only winning when Shohei is pitching. They are 5-0 in his last 5 starts and 6-23 in games that he's not starting. Tell me how you can be more valuable. That quite literally speaks to his value. The Angels can only win when he's pitching. And then on the contrary, another good point here. If you take Aaron Judge, let's use Aaron Judge for a reference because he's a lot of people's argument. If you take Aaron Judge off of the New York Yankees, the Yankees are still a playoff team. Okay? If you take Aaron Judge and put him on the Angels, if Shohei wasn't on the team, the Angels aren't a playoff team. So why are we using the team against the player and saying, well, how can you be that valuable if your team's not even winning? Well, this is baseball. One player doesn't produce a winning baseball team. The other argument here is, okay, well, yeah, if it's not Aaron Judge, because you want to put Aaron Judge in that same conversation, if you want to point to offensive stats, which seem to be the only thing people point to because they refuse to believe that Shohei's pitching is as good as it is, a lot of the argument there is, yeah, this is the offensive numbers. And I know Shohei pitches, but no, we're not just going to gloss over that. Shohei pitches, and it's a big deal. If you want to talk about offensive numbers, Aaron Judge isn't even the best. Jordan Alvarez is the better hitter this year. So for all of those reasons, Shohei Ohtani is the MVP. Stop using the team argument. And if you want to, I can prove to you that there's nobody more valuable. If you want to point to stats, Shohei Ohtani's WAR, this is B-WAR, which is Baseball Reference WAR, 4.4 B-WAR. Jordan Alvarez, 4.2. Rafael Devers, 4.0. Aaron Judge isn't even in the top 10 WAR. But Shohei Ohtani leads all of the AL MVP candidates with a 4.4 WAR. And this is a lot of people like to point to stats here and say, well, look at Aaron Judge's home run numbers. Look at so-and-so's OPS. Everybody wants to point to numbers. The haters want to point at numbers and say, well, this is why so-and-so is better. But when there is finally a stat that allows us to literally value somebody that does both, it allows us to combine their value on both an offensive and a pitching side. There's one stat that can do that. It's WAR, wins above replacement. it can quite literally combine his value. And he is the best amongst all the AL MVP candidates. And when you mention that, the term becomes, well, that's not a real stat. It's the one stat we have, and it just doesn't fit your argument. Shohei Ohtani is the most valuable player in Major League Baseball. Hands down, any other vote is just plain wrong. But what I want to end this segment with is just how much of a leader he's becoming in the dugout. He won MVP award last year. He's on top of the world these days, but he's also a leader in that locker room and in that dugout. It has been really fun to see Shohei the leader. And there's a cool video here that we saw in the past week when they were in Baltimore. Shohei, and this video, just for those of you that aren't watching, is Shohei Ohtani talking to Patrick Sandoval. And from what I can see, the tweet says new pitching coach for Patrick Sandoval. That's not. So what this is Shohei is clearly talking about a runner that was on second base, and Patrick Sandoval, Shohei was telling him to divvy up his timing and to get his timing different, because as soon as he was looking back home, the runner was taking another step and he needed to change that up. That's what that was about. But just a really cool conversation to see him and Patrick Sandoval and the legend of Ipe, shout out Ipe, having in the dugout. So that was really cool. And there's just been so many examples of Shohei stepping up this year and being a leader in that locker room. But that does it for this week in Shohei Ohtani news. All right, it is now time for a fun little segment we are calling Name That MLB All-Star. The All-Star game is right around the corner, so this is going to be a fun segment where I get one hint at a time and I see if I can guess who it is and at what point I can. And you listening as well, see at what point you can get this as well. But producer Rhea is out here with me, and we're going to see if I can guess who that MLB All-Star is.
All right, hopefully you're ready.
Are these all current? These are current, like guys on this All-Star team, right?
On this All-Star
Okay,
team.
good. Okay, great. That would get a little out of control.
All right, so first hint, this player is a 6-time All-Star.
All right, 6-time All-Star. So that's a good bit of All-Star games. A veteran. Oh, we got the trivia music going. 6-time All-Star. Okay, I'm just going to guess Jose Altuve.
That is not it. He's not it.
It's not Jose Altuve. Okay.
Next hint, this All-Star has 1,500 career hits.
1,500 hits, 6-time All-Star. That's 1,500 hits, and it's not Jose Altuve. Mike Trout has more All-Star games than that. The music's making me like worry because I feel like I have a countdown, but I don't.
Don't be nervous.
I got to remember I don't have a countdown. So it's not Mike Trout because he's had more than that. But 1,500 hits is a lot.
A lot. So somebody who's pretty up there.
Pujols has more. Miggy has more. They all have more All-Star games. Soto? No, Soto's too young. I'm gonna go with Manny Machado.
Manny Machado is correct. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, I feel good about that. Oh wow, that looks good too. That's cool. Okay, I feel like a 2. I feel like 3 or 4. Like 3 would be par. 2 is birdie. I feel like I just birdied that.
For sure.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Next potential All-Star. He's a 7-time All-Star.
Oh. 7-time All-Star. Maybe I'll just start off in the same direction. Jose Altuve.
Not quite.
Okay. I mean, okay.
Another hint? Okay.
Yeah.
He was the NL home run leader in 2013.
NL home run leader in 2013?
Taking you a little bit back in time here. Testing your knowledge.
2013. National League MLB home run leader in 2013. 2013. That's a good bit ago.
You need one more hint?
No, not yet. National League home run leader in 2013. I'm going to guess wouldn't be Arenado, not Pete Alonso, not Schwarber. Okay, I need one more hint.
One more hit? All right, this player is 1 home run away from 300.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt is correct. Let's go.
Okay.
2 for 2.
Yeah. I would hope I get them all. Just at what point do I get them, you know?
All right, so next up, This player is an 8-time All-Star.
I feel like I'm doing good. So I'm going to keep rolling with what I'm rolling with. I'm going to say Shohei Ohtani.
Correct. You were rooting for him so long. So correct.
Woo! Oh, man. I love that. Okay, what were my other hints going to be?
2017 AL MVP.
Yeah, I would have gotten it there.
And then World Series champ and 3-time batting champ.
Wow. I feel like I just nailed that. That was a lot of fun.
Definitely nailed it. So you guys definitely stay tuned for next week. All-Stars around the corner, and we'll have more trivias to come.
Yeah, and I think we should do this more like once All-Star Game's done with just like random players. This is a lot.
Oh, for sure. Super fun.
We'll come up with a fun name for it. Like just I'm not going to come up with it on the spot. We'll think of something fun. But that does it for MLB Name That All-Star. It is now time for Head of the Class, my top 5 rookies of the week. All right, so it is now time for Head of the Class, and we are going to start at number 5, the 5th best rookie of the week. At number 5, I have Michael Harris II. He was so good, and he's been so good since he has come up for the Braves. 280 on the week, 3 homers, 6 RBIs. The Braves have turned their season around, and you can literally point to the date that Michael Harris II came up, and they turned it around ever since. He deserves so much credit for this turnaround, and he was good again this week. He's here at number 5. Moving on to number 4 on this week's top rookies, Seiya Suzuki of the Chicago Cubs. Man, he was a lot of fun to watch this week. He comes back from injury. On 4th of July, he hits an inside the park home run, one of the most electric plays in baseball, and he hit .333 on the week, 2 homers, an OPS of 1.0300. Seiya Suzuki was phenomenal. He has been missed in Major League Baseball. I'm happy he's back and he is healthy. Moving on to number 3, head of the class this week. At number 3, we have Julio Rodriguez, the J-Rod Show. 292, 2 home runs, a 971 OPS. Julio is an all-star. In his rookie year, Julio made the all-star team. Really cool, really pumped to see that. One of the most electric guys in the sport. Really happy to see him. Also this week, he fell down on his way to third base. The team did that like CSI outline, and he went out there with like floaties to check it out. It was great, a lot of fun. Julio's here at number 3. Moving on to number 2 on top rookies this week, Jeremy Pena, the stud shortstop. 316 on the week, 3 homers, an 1100 OPS. He's been really good for the Astros. A couple walk-off home runs this year. You never expect somebody to step in and fill in the shoes of Carlos Correa, but he has done a pretty dang good job of doing that. He's here at number 2. Comes back from that injury, still has some nagging stuff happening, but when he's on the field, he has proven just how good he is and how good he's going to be. But that leaves number 1, the number 1 spot on this week's top 5 rookies of the week, and that is Spencer Strider of the Atlanta Braves. 2 rookies on here, 2 rookies for the Braves that have really turned their season around. He, in his start this past week, threw 6 innings, struck out 12 guys, punched out 12 in 6 innings, 0 earned runs, and only 2 hits allowed. A fantastic week for him, and if there's ever a week in which he's close to the top, or maybe at a tie for the top, the mustache he has is going to put him over the top. And he is there at number 1 in all of his glory, in all of his mustache's glory, and he punched out 12 guys. That helps as well. So this rounds out this week's head of the class. Michael Harris II, Seiya Suzuki, Julio Rodriguez, Jeremy Pena, and Spencer Strider here at number 1. But that does it for this Tuesday episode of Flippin Bats, my friends. This one has been an absolute blast. Make sure you're download, subscribed anywhere you listen to your podcast. Apple, Spotify, Google, all of that good stuff. Also, on all social medias, at Flippin Bats Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and you can watch every episode on YouTube as well. But that does it for this Tuesday episode. Tomorrow, we have a great one coming at you. All these Atlanta Braves on this list. We have AJ Minter of the Atlanta Braves coming on Wednesday. for you tomorrow as well. I hope you all enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this Tuesday episode of Flippin' Bats, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Peace.